The perspective that I wanted to ask you too, because we've never really talked about this, but you're Haitian.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How is it different in a place like Rhode Island or Cranston, like you're Haitian, being black? What things do you experience that I don't experience or that I wouldn't normally think of? Right? I mean, listen, we made the joke when you came over my house with Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You were like, I think you said it. You're like, I hope I don't get pulled over driving to the Western Side. Right? We joked about.
Yeah. I mean, because.
And we both laughed because there's truth to that.
Absolutely. There's truth to it, but the fact that you can laugh about it is cool.
Yeah.
You know, the black experience is
I like that. This is the Marc experience.
I mean, the black experience, and a lot of people like to say, it's like, no, we're all the same. It's like, no, we're not. We're not all the same. We have different experiences. And it's like, I hear people a lot say, like, you know, we're supposed to be a melting pot. It's like, well, I don't necessarily call it that, because if it's a melting pot, then people individually cease to be what they are. And we shouldn't do that. We're more like a salad or a stew, where it's like in a stew or a salad, like you put different parts, but they maintain the integrity of what they are. Tomatoes, lettuces are lettuce.
But as a whole, they
make something beautiful that tastes great. You know, I've had experiences as a young black male where, yes, I've gotten pulled over simply just for the look. Like I remember, like, you know, just.
And you're like the nicest guy ever, right?
Yeah, like one example. I was driving and I remember that there was a state trooper pulled up on the side of the road. And I remember just driving and looking over to him and then
you just knew?
And I just knew. And as soon as I drove forward, I saw him pull his car right around and pull me over just to check. And, you know, I'm not driving the greatest looking car. You know, at the time I'm driving around a clunker. So like he's going to formulate some things. I was like, like he might have something. Something might not be right. His inspection might be his registration, or he might have something in the car. So he wants to come in, check, do I have any weapon? It's like, no, no, you know? And
you're not a Ninja Turtle?
No, it's like, I don't allow myself to remain angry or bitter about those things. I just kind of pity them because their mindset is where it is. I've had it happen like recently where I remember I was coming down the road like in Cranston, right by the Texas Roadhouse. I was making a turn and I saw...
Is that the eastern side? It's eastern.
Yeah.
The western side's much nicer. Yeah. Ward 6, really.
I'm making a turn and I see him in the distance in an empty parking lot, just kind of sitting there. And I remember coming by and like, it's almost like we lock eyes and he comes...
Like in The Notebook?
He comes up, he pulls up behind me. And I can see him checking my registration, and I had just gotten this new car, new to me. And in my mind, it's like, he must be there. Where'd this kid get this new car? And he didn't pull me over. He pulled up behind me. And then I saw him that he came off because everything was what it was supposed to be. And then he happened to be up next to me because he was trying to speed past me so that I guess he didn't have to, you know, make that eye contact, but we were at the same red light. And I looked over to him and I did this and he knew what the wave meant. He was like, you thought you had me. And then he looked at me and he kind of like did that too. You know, it's like.
But do you laugh about it together?
We laugh. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, why am I going to be bitter about that? Why am I going to harbor that and use that for aggression against others? It's like, no. You know, it's like, I don't let that happen. And, you know, I would say, you know, when you're dealing with someone of a different ethnicity, different race, it's like, be your authentic self. Don't try to be something you're not, like, to try and, like, make them feel comfortable. Just be yourself. And they'll love that authenticity about you. I
love that answer. And one of the things I wanted to ask you, I have this question and then one more.
Yeah.
So I believe it's in California. Mm-hmm. And I'm not an expert on this. I'm just bringing this up. Like, is it reparations? Reparations?
Yeah.
Okay. That's where if you were black and your ancestors...
If you are of black descent and you're directly descended from slaves...
Then, was it California pays you money?
I think California did it. I think they passed it. But what did they pay you money? Yeah.
What do you think about that? And here's the reason I ask.
Yeah.
I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
I did not live through the Holocaust.
Right.
I don't think Germany should be paying me money because my ancestors were in the Holocaust.
Right.
Right? To be fair, if you lived in the Holocaust, Germany pays you now because you lived through it.
Right.
I get that.
Right.
But as a Jewish person, I'm not like, hey, Germany, like, where's my money? Right? And I think that in some instances, for me, I think that would even hold me back. Like, you're not forgetting who you are.
Right.
But this isn't me. This isn't my time. What are your feelings on that?
Well, I would say that there are certain things in life that reverberate over time. And when it comes to like the sins of this nation and the Black experience that our ancestors had, there are certain things that reverberate through time. Financially speaking, absolutely. Now, do I believe that reparations is going to solve every Black issue? No, far from it. But at the same time, I don't necessarily think that they don't deserve it. Because if you own a company and you have, let's say, 100 employees and all of them are forced to work for you and you're not paying them, your company's going to make a whole lot of money.
Okay, I understand. I understand what you're saying.
So you're saying
that they profited off them.
Yeah. So there are families. So it's like when you're wealthy isn't new money. Wealthy is old money.
A lot of time. Okay.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it tracks back.
I understand that perspective.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like in that aspect, they deserve. I wouldn't even be included in this because I'm descendant of Haitian slaves. So it's like America don't owe me money. France owes me money. France owes me money.
Napoleon, we come for you.
France owes me money and Napoleon on it. But, I don't think I would necessarily fit that requirement because we're talking about African slaves who were brought here, like being connected to that. To them. But I think they deserve their piece of the pie, their 40 acres and a mule. But at the same time, does that solve every Black problem? No, because when you have a lineage of financial struggle and survival is the mindset and not thrive. So when surviving is the mindset and not thriving, it's like that mindset, that survival mindset is not going to be good when you have a whole bunch of money. Money makes you bigger than what you are. If you're a $20 idiot and you make $1 million, you're going to be $1 million idiot.
And I understand what you're saying because, again, if this, say, corporation made all this money back in the day off the slaves.
Yeah, like we're talking about like companies that are
Don't get me offed.
Yeah.
Don't mention the
Go
government,
ahead.
Right? But I understand that.
Yeah.
That's not in my wheelhouse. So like me trying to wrap my mind around it.
Right.
Because it would seem like, okay, cool. So like these people that, I don't know who's giving the money, like didn't have the slaves.
Right.
But you're paying because this did happen. I mean, there's many injustices that happened.
Absolutely.
Right. But the other thing, because I understand that perspective.
Right.
The other thing, I'm like, okay, cool. So like if you're just going to give these people money, it doesn't give them that desire to go out and make something of their life. It's almost like,
no,
I'm sorry for you, Harry.
Yeah.
You don't have the ability to make any money on your own.
Yeah.
Or do anything great.
Yeah. The satisfaction of being able, I don't want a handout.
That's what I'm saying.
So it's like, here's like this. I'll put it like this. I'm not sitting around waiting for a check from France. Simply because I am who I am and I want to thrive in life. Correct. And I want to make something of myself. I'm not just talking financially. I just want to make something of myself in general as a person.
As a man, feel like you did it.
Exactly. Yeah. When they zip up that body bag, I want to leave this earth with people saying like, wow, he really helped me do this. Or he helped me in this aspect because he was doing his divine calling. Now, if I happen to get a random call that says, hey, France, hey, send it to this address and we good. But if you're waiting for like a duffel bag full of money, you're not thinking right. You got to go out and get it for yourself.
Yeah, and I feel like, then that was my thing. Like, so it feels like it would hold you back.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
you know what I'm saying? Waiting for, like having that mindset of waiting for it. It's like, oh, like once I get this money, like that's when things are going to No, it's not going to take off. You need to change your mindset now. And I'm not talking about with just Black people, like anybody.
The government,
it's like when this happens, that's when like, no, you need to make it happen now.
Yeah. I think that's on that path. And I think that's some of the stuff where if now listen, I think that government's way too overblown. Government should keep you safe.
Yeah.
And let you live life the way you want to. But like when you have these government programs and you're not having as part of it, this person now, again, if you have a physical handicap or an emotional, mental handicap where you can't do it, get it. But if you're sound in those areas and you're capable, but you're getting handouts, you don't have that desire to make something of yourself or live the life that you want to live. Because listen, it might be great when you get that check at the first of the month. Yeah. Once you go through that money, it's not great.
No.
And for the most part, if you're just waiting for that check every month, that's not a way to live.
Especially if nobody's taught you how to use that money and make it into something.
Right.
So that's important, education, and it's important to want to have this desire to make something of yourself, to make sure you fulfill your purpose in life. But if you think your purpose in life is tied to this check that you're waiting for in order for you to It's like, nah, I don't think you're going to get very far. You know what I'm saying? So two things can be true at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So like for those who feel purpose to fight for that right for black people or the ancestors of black people to do that, if that's your life calling, stand 10 toes down in it, do it. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I don't feel called to do that. Like, right. I don't know the first thing about that. You know what I'm saying? I know some history, but for me, I'm not waiting for you to fulfill that purpose so that I can be okay. No, I'm going to do my divine calling, what I feel called by God to do in this lifetime, to help people, to encourage people, to whatever it is, uplift and encourage, whatever that may be. And if that happens to come, oh, hey, we in it.
But I think that's like the next logical step. Yeah. Because like you could go down this road and then somehow you get hooked up and you're like, now fighting for reparations is what you want to do. Yeah. And listen, I'm all for that. Yeah. As a white person, I don't really know much about that. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we have these conversations where we can I can ask. Yeah. And that perspective actually made sense to me. Yeah. Right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, example, you got old companies like State Farm isn't some new company.
I'm gonna get offed. No, all right. Jake's on his way over.
Jake from State Farm, like that wasn't a concept or a company that started in 2015. That goes back hundreds of years on the backs of people who were working for free. Okay. In very difficult decisions, difficult circumstances. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's in that aspect. Yeah. They deserve that. But the mindset, I'm talking about mindset. You shouldn't be waiting, or if you're waiting for like this chance moment where you win the lottery or you find a duffel bag full of money.
Then you're not living life.
You are not living life. Yeah. And you are not happy because once that duffel bag is gone, you're right back down to being depressed and down and not doing what you've been called to do in this lifetime. And that's for anything and everything. I'm going to widen the scope. It's like if you're waiting around for a boyfriend to make you feel better about yourself, or waiting for a girlfriend, or waiting for a certain type of car to make you feel better about yourself, or whatever it may be, or a flat screen TV, whatever. It's like, no, man, like get up, find out what you love to do and go and do it.
Hello, my name is Dr. Marc Bochner. Don't forget to check out my new book, Pug Learns to Believe.